Welcome, man. Tell us a little bit about yourself, man. Obviously, we know you're a Cowboys fan. We can see it from the shirt, from the couch. You know, you repping from the hat. Start up, baby. I love it. But tell
Yeah.
us, man, your favorite sports teams, favorite sports players in any
Well,
sport.
obviously the Cowboys. But I grew up in the '90s, so I was a big fan of the Cowboys, the Braves, and the Rockets. Those were the teams that were good, whenever I was young. So those are the teams that I followed. I grew up in a small town in East Texas, has 8,000 people in it. So we were like 4 hours from Dallas, like 2.5 hours from Houston. So we were right in the middle. So I didn't really have a team. And
Okay.
at the time, the Cowboys were, really good. So obviously, that's the team that I followed. Um,
Okay. Now,
the all-time favorite player has to be Michael Irvin. That's my guy. Whenever I was young,
man,
that's who I idolized, making the catches and all that stuff. So.
what would you say one of your favorite sports memories are?
Um, well, my first game that I ever went to was at Texas Stadium, and it was against Washington. And it was me and my now ex-wife and my son. He was, I don't remember. He was younger than two, and it was a long, boring game. I think the score was either 6-6 or 7-6. And at the end, Cowboys kicked the field goal to win. And it was the only time the stadium was loud. Like the whole time, it was just quiet, and everybody just like watching the. It wasn't like a good low scoring defensive battle. It was
Right.
a bad offense, decent defense. And whenever the Cowboys kicked the game winning field goal, everybody just went crazy. The stadium just gets so loud. And I've never experienced anything like that. And I'm excited. And I look over to my ex wife, and she's like holding my son, and he's kind of crying because he had fell asleep on her. We were in standing room, and she wasn't really excited. And she's like holding him, and I'm like, I'm thinking, oh, he's crying, she's upset or whatever. And she leans over and she goes, "He peed on me." I said, "Oh." I was like, "Okay, that makes more sense." So
So, so is that your most forgettable moment too?
one of them.
So hey, on that note, what's your most forgettable? Like when were you most disappointed? It doesn't have to be like a live experience. Like I was crushed when
Ooh,
like yeah. Go ahead.
uh, 2007 playoffs, the Romo
Oh,
Seattle. I'm not
yeah.
going to go into too much detail, guys.
Uh,
I know what I'm talking about. It was one of the times that I really thought that the Cowboys had a chance. They had one of the best defenses. They had a high scoring offense and run game, receivers, and going in number one seed. It just felt like it's the Giants, like it's the Giants. And of course, they got hot, and all the way up until the Romo interception at the end, it was yeah, that was brutal.
what would you say is? I know that's your most forgettable moment, but if you had to rank the Dez catch
Yeah.
versus the fumble snap, um, you know,
um, I have to say the fumbled snap because that's number one ahead of the Dez catch because honestly, I think that the Dez catch, it just seemed like they had changed the rules so much
yeah,
between because it used to just be boom possession 2 feet catch, and then it became a football move, and it became um, what do they call it, possession through the landing or whatever. They said you
mhm.
had to hold the ball through the
Through the
fall,
ground.
and
Yeah.
yeah, so it just seemed like that was just a whole disaster waiting to happen. And of course, it happened to the Cowboys on prime time in the playoffs, and of course, was 7 years ago today, I think.
Yep.
Damn, y'all got it marked on the calendar. Wow, that's
Oh.
Oh, yeah. Good way. Oh, good way.